Well, Brūs, I'm super excited to have this time with you today. It's our very first podcast.
Yeah.
It's kind of exciting on the business side. And I'm excited for people who are going to come into the podcast, what they're going to learn. I'm excited about them joining our community. The idea of joining our community later is that they could even be a part of a mastermind. And you'd be on that, or myself, or other people. But we really want people to do really, really well. We want them to have hope. So here's our first topic, okay?
Lay it on me.
First topic is you're a practitioner. You're new to the field, and you come home and your wife says, Allah, I'm pregnant. I want to stay home. And she says, by the way, we need more money. Allah, then you go back to your employer and say, I'd like a raise. Let's talk about that as a practitioner. How should you be asking for a raise?
It's a really great question. I think this is a conversation that you and I have had in the past, and I've had this conversation with many physical therapists and many people in the workforce in general.
Right.
But the biggest thing is, what value do you bring to that business? Rather than just asking for more money, I think it's really important that you come in with a sales pitch about yourself and what you can do for the business, for the team, for the directors, for the board, for the owner of that business, whatever setup that you're within. And that doesn't necessarily need to be financial value. It can be time value. It can be, you know what? I really would like a raise, and here's X, Y, and Z of what I'm willing to do. I can take over these responsibilities for you, which give you your time back, which allow then more revenue to be generated or more time to be spent other places. Or perhaps maybe it's being able to example in physical therapy, being able to treat, diagnose, and work with conditions that bring a whole different subset to your clinic. You know, if you're not treating hand at all and you go in, hey, I'm willing to take these classes, go through these extra sets of training to be able to be a hand therapist to treat this whole population that we're not working with, that's a huge piece of value to the clinic, where I'm going to really work on being able to treat cranial facial issues so we can start working with dentists and other neurologists in the community. No one's doing that. That's incredible. That's incredible value to the clinic. It's not necessarily financially directly, but it's bringing in market share that you normally were not seeing. I think that when it comes to an employee talking to their employer about making more money, their only limitation is their imagination or lack thereof.
So would you say that it's important for a practitioner to think about what an owner values? Absolutely. You just said market share could be something that owner wants. What are some other things as an owner? Because I really think you have to put yourself in their shoes. So what are the things that owner's looking for to be able to go, I would love to give you a raise? Wouldn't that be fun as an employer to go, yes, you deserve it?
Absolutely.
So what are the 3 or 4 things that you need to be able to address as the owner?
Well, I think it's also incredibly important to know that your employer operates within the law of reasonability. And what I mean by that is, unfortunately, there's a lot of situations out there that aren't just in physical therapy, but in general in the workforce, right, where if you are generating more revenue for a business, the law of reasonability states that one should be paid more, correct? Right. That's unfortunately not how the world works in a lot of different industries. Do I run my business that way? Yeah, without question. And you know what? I am more than happy to pay my staff more if they are generating more revenue for the clinic. Again, the law of reason, it seems like a reasonable thing. We're using logic, critical thinking, reasoning, right? But there's a lot of the world, the corporate world in particular, that doesn't operate that way. So if you're in a situation like that, where you're bringing value and generating more revenue and you're not being compensated for that, it's something to think about.
Sure.
For sure.
Interesting enough, I do a lot of work with CEOs, and I've come to the belief that there are 4 things that CEOs are interested in. 4 things. And the reason I came up to this is I had a company come to me and say, well, we're sending them emails and they're not responding. And I go, why? And they said, well, it's a great email. I said, do you know what CEOs want to know? They looked at me like I had horns coming out of my head. So there's 4 things. And I think it applies to asking for a raise and giving a raise. I believe CEOs are concerned about 4 things. 1, making money, making more money. Can you show me how to make more money? Number 2, can you save me money? Can you show me some efficiencies? 3, can you reduce my liability? Is there something we're doing that we're going to get sued for? And the 4th thing is, how can you make me different and better than my competition? How do you separate those? So when you look at all 4 of those, 1, making money, we've talked a little bit about that. Efficiency, we haven't talked a little bit about that, but I think efficiency, and then the 3rd one is risk, and the 4th one is different. Which one of those as an owner is most important to you?
Ooh, man.
All of them?
Throw a number 5, time, too, without question. That's the most valuable resource that we have as human beings.
Yep.
If I'm outsourcing a particular part of my clinical operations that's going to save me time, I can use that time to generate more revenue, to create more market share, to give back to my community, to mentor staff, time's a critical piece too.
Yeah.
Those are all very important pieces, Mark. I think it's really hard to say what the most important one is.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
Do you think the 4 are accurate?
I do. And if you throw in a 5th for time, I would say that is a solid set of pillars. I mean, and the liability one that you talked about is a gross underestimation of that's critically important.
It seems to me most employers haven't been very transparent in the fact of saying, these are the 5 areas we're interested in. If you can help us make more money, we'd love your ideas. If you could help us be more efficient, if you could help us reduce a risk, which many times we just miss it because we're not looking.
Right.
The 4th one is, what can you do to make us different? And, whether it's a different area or skill set. And the last one is time. Can you get me more time? So is that something that most employers are transparent with their employees on that? And if they are not, why don't they do that? It seems it would make everything a lot easier.
I agree. And if the transparency was there between ownership and staff, I think you would grow leadership within your organization much more organically versus bringing in outside sources over the top of your already established team. I mean, it's a brilliant idea, Mark, no question.
The thing that I find is, and you've mentioned it many times, which I love, is that most employers look at the dollar. How do you make me more money? We're going to motivate you by bonuses and raises, which I think are great if you let people know what they are. Many times they're just guessing or they're arbitrary. And if they're arbitrary, your people will leave. If you have an arbitrary bonus and you don't do it, it's gone. But to me, we need to find a way from an employer perspective to be able to be much more forthright and upfront. That's scary.
It is.
But you need to do that. And on the other side is, think of these employees now that don't have to guess anymore.
Right.
They want to come and work for you because you say what you mean and you mean what you say.
That's a huge part of it too, without question. And having systems in place that are transparent and visible to allow people to grow. And even though I see someone's skill set of where their strengths and weaknesses are, and I have this pathway that I build out for them that I want them to take to move into leadership, to do this beautiful thing for our profession and for our community, I have to slow down. And I have to say to myself, is this what they want? Yeah. Is my job to create a tiered structure of things to do and to achieve? Or is my job to be transparent, create pathways and systems and opportunities for those who want to reach there to grab and go? But you mean, you're 100% correct on the back end of that. If we're transparent about what we want and what we need, we're going to have more levels of innovation and ideas than we could ever possibly imagine. I'd like to think I'm pretty good at what I do and that I know a lot. But you know something? The best ideas for my business and my practice, they don't come from me. They come from my staff. They're smart. They're capable of so much. And if I just listen and open my ears for a brief moment, I may hear something truly remarkable that can completely change the game in my community and my state.
Yeah. There's a guy who used to work for me, and he had lots and lots of ideas. Have you ever had one of these people who had ideas all the time?
Yes.
And people would ignore him because after a while, the idea, I would say out of 10 ideas, 7 of them may not be great, but the 3 were genius. And I would tell people, do not ignore Bill. Bill's 3 ideas are diamonds in the rough. But part of it is we have to be willing to listen. And there are times we don't have time to listen to the 7. But I think when you talk about what you were just talking about with employees, it's not only listening, it's asking questions and being present and them knowing that you're really interested in where they're going and where they want to go. That was the hardest thing for me as a leader, to realize that people didn't want what I wanted. They didn't work the way I did, and they don't think the way I do, and we don't want them to.
Absolutely. That's the beauty in it,
Yeah,
right?
It is. So again, just as a summary, we want practitioners and clinicians, we want you to make more money.
Absolutely.
And we want you to think about, what does the owner value? And if it's not transparent, why don't you ask questions? That we've given you 5 areas. We've given you make more money, save more money, being efficient. We've talked about liability. We've talked about something unique and different. And the last thing, we talked about time. So now you could go to an employer and say, how are there certain things I can do in this area that would make me more valuable that you'd want to pay me? As an employer, I'd be like, that never happens.
That would be the best conversation in the world.
It is.
Absolutely.
And as an employer, to kind of put a bow on this, we need to be listening. We need to be asking questions, and we need to put things out before them so that they motivate them to look into those 5 areas. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because really, isn't it fun to pay somebody more?
It is.
And you want to pay them?
Absolutely. It's the best conversations.
And it's really fun when that guy goes, I went to my employer, I told him these areas, and by the way, I am going to make more money. You can stay at home.
That's awesome.
It's a great deal.
That's a great deal.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Hey, it's Bruce and Ben. We wanted to take a moment to welcome you to our YouTube channel, Terrell Medical Education.
Terrell was created for rehabilitation professionals of all kinds to really work together to start changing the way that healthcare is currently being practiced and what the future of healthcare looks like.
We hope that our content and community helps inspire you to be a part of the next level of clinicians that are going to treat our patients out in the world today.
Beyond just joining us in our free community that we call the Terrell Tribe, you can also check out some of our events on our events page at terrell.com. Each and every one of our orthobiological hacking conferences and events and future events to come is really designed to help you really master and learn these regenerative concepts, as well as take charge and move the rehabilitation profession forward.
We're really excited about the orthobiological hacker certification, and we have much more content coming. So subscribe, check out our YouTube, check out our website, join the community, and we hope to see you at our events.
And remember, a storm is coming.
Thanks so much for watching.